the Founder Speak podcast in collaboration with Arjun. And joining me today is Walter. Walter's company is called Chocolate Finance. He's the founder. You just made me very hungry. Walter, welcome to the yellow table.
Great to meet you, Arjun.
Right? Pleasure. Walter, we have about 10 or 12 minutes. I wish we had more time. In that 10 to 12 minutes, we want to sort of cram in all the learnings we can from you as a founder.
Sure.
Right? Where I want to start with is, a fairly simple and straightforward question, right? Who are you, right? Where are you on your journey as a founder? How did this all start? And then if, while you're saying all this to me and sharing your insights, give me a couple of sort of, events in your founder journey, which have sort of defined who you are as a founder, right?
Sure.
Or what's impacted some of the decision making that you've done.
Sure.
Right? So,
Well, hi, great to meet you. I'm Walter de Oude. I was originally the founder of a company called Singlife, a big insurance company here in Singapore, and finished that up and started a new business called Chocolate Finance. I'm an actuary by training. I was running HSBC's insurance businesses for some time on the exco of the bank and all of these kinds of things. And we built a fantastic insurance business in Singlife. But to the point of what was one of the most defining moments of all that was we built a product at Singlife. We called it the Singlife account. And the idea really was, why is it that only banks should have dominion over cash and cash management? So we built a product where you could use an insurance construct to deliver great cash returns by putting money in, money out, and digital payments and all those things as well. That product worked fantastically well as an insurance company, and I've started that again on that fresh idea, now using an asset management franchise or capability to deliver great cash returns in the brand of Chocolate Finance.
So Walter, so that's great. I think, so you give me a great answer in terms of the business idea, but go into the mind of the founder, right? So give me a little bit of insight in what triggered you to wanting to do that as the founder.
Yeah, sure. Well, as a previously being a CEO of a big HSBC insurance type of company, you kind of get bored and you kind of say, this is all a bit bureaucratic, and I'm sure I could build a better one myself if I tried. And you wake up one day and say, well, I'm gonna. And so you go and get a license and you raise some capital and off you go. And you realize what your motivations really are. And for me, it's very simple. I love building cool stuff, and I love finding ways of making things better and actually improving the financial lives of people by just building better stuff. And that's what Chocolate Finance is.
And that's interesting, right? But so you're obviously a two-time founder, and you're a two-time successful founder, right? I'm a frustrated founder, or a frustrated entrepreneur, never became one. But I know quite a few people, who had a similar vision to you, a similar instinct to you, but didn't sort of kind of make it happen, right? Why has it been possible for you twice as a founder to be successful?
I think there has to be a relentless pursuit of the one thing that you think you're aiming for. And how to get there is an uncertain journey. You don't know how you're going to do it. You don't know where the capital is going to come from. You don't know where the tech's going to work or not. You don't know what the regulators are going to do and how you're going to have to navigate all those things. But the central focus on the big idea means that as all these rocks in the road appear, you can navigate yourself around them. And it's this constant driving ambition to build something great, something that you can be proud of, that you can bring a team of people with you on that share the same focus and energy and aspirations about doing something meaningful. That kind of brings it all together and keeps you going through all of those times when it seems like a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, it is. And so give me two very interesting thoughts. So one is obviously, there's a certain amount of agility that you're saying that one needs to have. But there's also this sort of appetite to be able to, I guess, absorb the uncertainty, right? How do you train yourself to do that?
Well, my wife says I have a brain a little bit like a goldfish, is that I don't really remember the things that go wrong along the way. You just kind of keep swimming, right? So I think you have to have a certain ability to just kind of put the difficult parts aside and just keep swimming.
And it's also a secret for a good marriage life.
That's true.
Yeah. And the second part you actually meant was about building a team, right?
Yep.
Now, I would imagine someone like you who's been successful the first time around naturally attracted talent the second time around, right? That's not the case for most people. I'm sure you've had some challenges too in terms of being able to hire people. You come across as someone who's got great conviction, who can sort of sell a great idea, right? But it takes something more, right?
Yeah, I think actually everybody has got innate skills. And I think with the right environment, the right landscape, the right empowerment, the right forum for collaboration and communication and ownership of everything, you can make pretty much anybody do awesome things if given the right environment. So I've never really had a problem or saying, oh, I need to go and find a more talented person. There is talent in us all, and we just clubbing together produce great stuff if we were all on the same page.
Okay, and so how do you extract that talent?
Just purpose and keep driving and hit that rabbit as hard as you can until it cracks.
So are you a slave driver?
I like working hard, and I think everybody is equally mindful of the fact that nothing happens without hard work. It drives a work culture which is very focused on delivery, and some people like that environment, and some people thrive of it, some people don't, and they kind of fall away. But the guys that love delivering tend to just do really, really well.
So talk to me about it, right? So again, people, I know, I come from a background in consulting, right? So people make fun of consultants, but one thing that's very true is that we guys have great work ethic, right? We put in the hours. It's usually hard work. It's intellectually, stimulating, but actually sometimes quite trying. The hours are long. How do you take knockbacks? Because I've seen a lot of people people are hard workers, tend never take back knockbacks too well, right? Because they believe that they should be able to get everything right.
Yeah, it's a blend of all of the components, right? You get the goldfish mentality to forget the ones that you can't fix, but there's a drug of adrenaline that comes from problem solving. And so if you're treating each kind of knockback or setback as, okay, well, I've got to solve this problem in a different way, it's not just the problem solving of itself that's the thing, but it's the pure satisfaction you get as an individual of actually having solved it in a way which works. And in financial services, it's tough, right? We're in a highly regulated environment. You have to navigate through all sorts of regulations, which are frankly not always that conducive to innovation. It's not always as forward-looking as you'd like it to be. And engaging with regulators to try and get that collaborative approach to delivering something meaningful and wonderful in a tightly regulated environment means that there's lots of challenges to overcome as we go. But it's just grind.
And I get that. And what's very interesting, so, I come from a financial services background myself, so I appreciate it. Some have even called it, death by 1,000 cuts, right? I've known so many founders who have actually avoided going into fully regulated financial services just because they just cannot take that persistent knockback, which comes every day of everything that, every day of their existence. Yeah. So you knew this very well after your first one. What made you believe that you wanted to take the challenge a second time over? It's just because you were able to do it the first time, or?
No, I think if you fundamentally are building something that's meaningful, something that is in the best interest of human beings, that you're building something that's going to make their lives better or deliver value, I think regulators and otherwise would all ultimately subscribe to the same general philosophy. It's how you get there. There's a lot of discussion along the way. I've been fortunate enough to be holding regulatory positions for a long time, and I've been able to engage with regulators in meaningful ways for years. And that openness of dialogue, the trust that gets built between a regulator and an entrepreneur is vitally important as we go. It's challenging. Of course, there's a lot of hoops to jump through and even interpretation of regulation. But in collaborative spirit, it all can get done.
Okay. Question for you. You mentioned doing the right thing, adding value to life, adding value to society, making money. How do you sort of juggle between the two?
Well, you get to the point where the delivery of the product, the challenge of actually being successful in building something is far more satisfying than the rewards or money or whatever else. It's just I want to build something. Can I prove that I can build it? And are people going to respond well to the offering that I'm trying to do? And if I've got a good response and a good product and it's useful, then that's the satisfaction. And if you're successful in delivering a great product, then of course your business will be successful as well.
I'm gonna move to a different tangent. I want to talk a little bit about Walter the person now.
Sure.
Right? What do you do for fun?
As much as I can. I kind of think that every moment that you have on this earth, you got to make the most of it. So be engaged, whether it's work or family or sport, or just live it as large as you possibly can at every moment and never regret a minute.
Do you get more than 3 hours of sleep a night?
A little more, but I sleep less than most.
I can see that. Right? I can figure that. So last question, right, Walter? I think I should have started with this question. The name chocolate. Give me the story behind that.
Oh, it's very simple. Everybody loves chocolate.
Well, yeah,
Chocolate makes you happy, and we want you to be happy about your money.
that's a good way to do it. Why hasn't anyone else thought about it before?
Well, you look at brands. Brands are so bland,
Well, it's
and
financial
traditional.
services
Yeah.
brands are,
So
right.
how do you find an engaging way to talk about something which is a bland thing? And if you can make it in a way which is inviting and exciting and easy and transparent and accessible and clickable and all that stuff, you can make something which is generally a difficult thing to get your thoughts around in a much more consumer friendly and accessible way. And chocolate is just a nice way to package up the
No,
solution.
I love the name. I love the name. And as a matter of fact, when someone actually, first told me or introduced you and the name of the company, I actually asked them twice. I'm like, is that company called Chocolate? And they said yes. And then I kind of read up on it, like financial services. I'm like, wow, I've never had that. But, I wish you the very best, both as an individual and for chocolate. If you ever do make it to what I call my part of the world, which is the Middle East, I think we need a company called Chocolate in the Middle East. We could do with some sort of fresh thinking on financial services. It would be a pleasure to sort of meet you.
Well, I'd love to
Right.
take the conversation further.
Yeah, and I'd love to. As a matter of fact, I have a podcast of my own, which I run out of Dubai and Riyadh from next year. We have a 45-minute section, and it's usually about the business. Right, so I don't get so personal on most conversations.
All good.
Right, all good. But with that, I'd like to thank you for coming in.
Brilliant.
Enjoy the rest of SFF.
Thanks for having me, and I
Pleasure.
enjoyed the conversation.